AIB is a safe space for us ladies and theydies to discuss our bodies, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. We're offering insights, sharing stories, laughing, supporting, and unlocking our divinity together. There's no greater power than that of the flower that is always in bloom.
So we already touched on it already, but welcome to another episode of Always in Blue.
Hey, we here.
And I'm so excited for today's topic, guys, because it's spicy. This one's interesting, okay? This episode will be about our whole friends, whether she is us or we are living vicariously through her. She is essential to the part of the all-encompassing female identity. Drop them, take their money, take their souls, and repeat. The whole friend has taught us so many things. I am your girl, Grace Annette.
And I'm Muhyi.
And we have the wonderful, amazing Nichelle Hawkins here with us.
Hey.
Hi, Nichelle. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Of course, I'm excited to be here.
Now, Nichelle is a dancer, mentor, YouTuber, and talent acquisition professional who is passionate about inclusion and creative freedom. She's a part of a women's empowerment business called Embracing the Crown,
Queen.
working with millennial women of color, helping them embrace the skin that they are in. Nichelle attended Rutgers University, where she obtained a BA in Human Resource Management and Labor Relations, minoring in Women Gender Studies. Her involvement in multiple community-based organizations is what birthed her desire to work in the D&I space and empower others. Again, thank you, Nichelle, for being here with us today.
Yay, I'm so excited. Thank you. Great intro.
Yes.
I wonder who wrote it.
How are you feeling, Nichelle? Thank you again for joining us. How are
I'm
you feeling?
good. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling adventurous. As you know, I'm out here in Austin, so a lot of changes, but I feel good. I feel good about it all.
Word.
It's very exciting.
This is our first virtual interview, actually. So
I'm like in the headphone thing.
Yeah, I feel really official. Like I'm like, right.
Like
right.
now I feel like a podcaster.
No, you guys look legit.
We have headphones.
We can dive right into our ovary here. We're about this episode's about being a hoe. Our hoe friends. Are you a hoe? Am I a hoe? Is she a hoe? But first, let's break down what a hoe is to all of us. What does a hoe mean to you, or what does being a hoe mean to you, Nichelle?
Oh, I go first. Being a hoe, I feel like if I was just to strip it down and make a definition, it would be someone who has multiple partners, someone that doesn't care about societal norms when it comes to what you should do as far as like your body goes. It's someone that just embraces their feelings, their energy, and if it's right, then they're gonna go for it. So
yeah,
I like that. I like
I
that
love
definition.
That. Heck yeah, I'm with it.
What about you, Muhyi? What does being a hoe mean to you?
I'm with everything that Nichelle just said. I think like a hoe, especially the way we're gonna title this episode is Heaux, Heaux.
Fancy hoe.
You know what I'm saying? Like we've re-empowered the word. I think that's stepping into your empowerment, and whether that means being sexually liberated, but it's being confident in your being and not letting anybody else dictate how you navigate the world, whether it be sexually. It's just taking it in and owning that. That's what being a hoe is. And shout out to Jasmine Sullivan with Hotels and really showing out and showing up. Even the extended version, I'm like, yep, I am a hoe through and through. I wear that on my chest. It is in my bio on Twitter. Like I am a hoe. I own that now.
Fully embracing it. I absolutely love that. For me, being a hoe is a lifestyle.
Okay.
It's not, but being a hoe is really like a moment to me. It's like a week, an hour, an outfit. You know what I mean? It is a vibe. It's an energy. You can be a hoe sometimes. You can decide to not be a hoe. The actual definition of hoe comes and derives from the word whore, which is a slang for the word prostitute, which in direction just means somebody who sells their body for traded goods, money, food, other things. But it's definitely shape-shifted, especially in recent years, like when you said, as we've reclaimed the word. And before, I feel like it would be like you'd feel some type of way if somebody called you a hoe.
I feel like it's like even if we are using like the same terminology and same definition, I feel that it was meant in a derogatory way
Yeah.
originally, where it's like, I'm using what I have to get what I want. Okay, baller.
Big facts. It's like
Hoe
they
equals
spent it
baller.
back.
Yeah, and honestly, it's more specifically tied to women, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Because like if you hear that word out and you immediately think of like a woman, you're not equating that or putting that label or, you know, title onto anyone who identifies as a man. So it's like there's also layers to this to this word, you know what I mean?
Now, big facts is whenever you call like a man whore, a whore, it's usually like a man whore, like you say it, like you're never even like,
Yeah.
oh, he's being a whore, like no,
Right.
that's a man whore or that's a
Right.
man
It's
hoe, like,
different. Yeah,
and
yeah,
why
yeah.
does there need to be any gender difference when it's all the same thing? Like you're just being a hoe.
You're just using what you have to get what you want.
Exactly.
Literally.
And I think that's kind of a beautiful thing because sometimes we need things. We need things. It takes a lot to define yourself and like say what you actually want and how you're going to get it, to take action on what you're going to. We support hoes out here.
100%. I think depending on how you label it, a quote unquote hoe phase is definitely
Oh yeah.
essential in a female's journey.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you need to be promiscuous during your whole phase, because I
Right.
think that's, you know, we can separate the two. But I definitely think it is necessary because so I don't know if it's got recorded, but I'm in quarter 4 of my whole season, of my whole phase in
Right.
life, right?
Come on, Q4.
Q4, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm almost out the game. But I have very you know, quarter 1 was real new. I was new to everything when I because my whole life I grew up just wanting to have like one partner, and I wanted one boyfriend that I was gonna spend the rest of my life with, and he was gonna ask me to marry him, and then I was gonna have his babies. And like I didn't have to worry about like playing the game and like not necessarily like talking or flirting, but like I didn't have to be out here like in the streets.
Yeah, you were supposed to be courted and acquired. You didn't have to show.
Exactly. And then things just ended up where I wasn't in the streets, but I was single. And I decided that I want to be out in the streets because it seems fun out there. You guys make it seem lots of fun. And to a certain extent, it is. It definitely is, to be able to
I was gonna ask you, like, how does it feel to be in that structure? Because a piece of me, like, it's a little bit of a common thread throughout life where I have had that mentality and still kind of do, from being transparent. Like, you know, I would love that story. But on the other side of it, it's like having this quote unquote freedom to just move as you please and you don't owe anyone a loyalty or a certain type of connection. Like, how has that felt for you? You know?
It felt amazing. I've had so much fun in my whole phase, like truly, truly so much fun developing my rosters, you know, throughout the seasons, picking people up, dropping people. Like I've had a lot of fun throughout it. But it also just made me come into myself a little bit more because like I've been having fun with it. So like, you know, I'm not necessarily always like the same Grace with like all of my hoes. But I do realize the things that I keep like consistent. And like that, you know, the same stories that I will like tell between all of them, or the same parts of the story that I'll keep the same between all of them. So I definitely think it's helped me develop my core as a person and really come into my sexuality. I've always been a very sexual person, but my whole phase, I was really just like, yep, this is where my power is coming from.
I love that. I love that that empowerment through your being. And I think this episode is titled Whole Friends because it's a value in the connection that you create with someone else, whether you are the hoe or you're just friends with them. Because I've definitely tried the whole phase. It did not work out for me. I found out really early. I was just like, all right, 2 people. I just called someone the wrong name. It was real messy. I couldn't keep up. So I just
like you don't call them by their names. Come on, girl. I'm gonna write a book.
Mean it. I don't
Hey,
mean
babe.
Thank you, babe,
Hey, babe.
boo, love, handsome.
It just didn't. It's a lie. I'm lying.
I'm like,
so I feel like having you in my circle and us being so close, I was able to see your liberation and your identity flourish and grow. So that made me want to explore myself and even my sexual identity. You know, like I feel like it's something that we all have to look into because as women, we're not necessarily told to be as liberated. You know, like I said before, we are something to be courted and then we are courted and kept, as opposed to expressed and flowing and what we actually are, infinite.
Yeah.
So shout outs to my whole friends.
You
Bow.
already know. How about yourself, Nichelle? Did you go through a whole phase? I know you said that wasn't really like your mentality because we had that same mentality early on. But like, what is your journey been?
Good question. So for me, similar to me, I felt like I was lying. So one thing I did, right, it would be like, and you guys know, I was in like this long ass relationship. Can I cuss? Is that fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I was in this long ass relationship. And when I got out of that, I entered into this like pool of prospects, if you will. And I found myself like, I would play, I'd have fun. Like for me, it was like first, second base, like, that was like wild or whatever. And I remember having a friend who was, I think it was like our first day freshman year in college. And she came back to the dorm the next day and was like, yeah, so I stayed with that guy we met at the party. And we were all like, it was like this big thing. And she was just like, yeah. I'm like, were you protected? Did you have safety? Did you do this? Did you trust it? Like, it's all these different layers.
Yeah.
I realized, okay, that's me. You know what I mean? And I can't put that on anyone else. So she was the best, though. We had so much fun. I felt like whenever this is the thing, though. Whenever I would have fun and play, it was like I'm talking to this person, and it would be like 3 months goes by, and I'm like, I didn't diversify. I didn't elevate and find,
Yeah.
And so post grad or whatever, I found myself just like more so in my whole phase. It was like getting used to the idea of dating multiple people and being able to be courted by multiple people. And if you know what I mean, and being comfortable with that and not feeling like I had to automatically attach. So even back to my description of what a hoe means or whatever, like to me, I was on some level of that, of being like, you know what, let me not feel so connected and bounding myself to these people and like hanging on for dear life as if this is the end all be all. So for me, it was understanding like you are not defined by the person you're with, and you're also okay to, pick and choose, have fun. Like, don't be so intense about it. Like, I don't want to stress myself out anymore. So it was an interesting journey, but I feel like I don't regret anything. I'll say that.
Absolutely. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Are you currently single?
Yes.
Okay. And you're just like, are we still like in this, like you're just dating?
So, oh my God.
I can ask. I mean, I don't mean to put it like vanity and love life.
It's totally fine. So I was in a relationship. We recently broke up, but the relationship was probably a little like a year or so, a little over a year. Before that, I was talking to people, dating, like having fun. And now, even after that relationship, like we're still cool as hell. But I'm like kind of in my power of being like, I'm fine. Like, like now my eyeballs are looking around. I'm like, okay, kind of cute. Like, just trying to get back into feeling it. So I'm in an interesting position right now. I'll say that. It's complicated. It's complicated.
I love it's complicated moment.
Yeah.
Right. I think it being complicated is actually speaking to your full identity as a woman and as a sexual being, because it's sometimes like, oh no, I'm in a relationship, I'm single, I'm going and talking to a bunch of different people. It's like, it's complicated. I'm figuring it out. I'm acknowledging that I have several steps of being who I am. That's what's up. It better be complicated. Stay complicated, folks.
I love the point that you had made about you realizing that you were like trying to be a hoe or whatever, and like we're talking to somebody for like 3 months and like you hadn't like diversified. I think that's a really interesting point, because part of my whole phase was making me part of what I realized throughout my whole phase was that like I don't have to have as deep of connection with everybody that I meet. And like just because we click and just because like it's great doesn't mean that this needs to be longer than like a month-long fling, because I've had to go through it a couple times where I was like, okay, like we're connected, like oh my god, these first couple of weeks are great, we're great, and then 3 months in I'm like, I don't like you no more.
I just feel like that's so much work of like tending to someone and like not pretending to like them, but like giving someone attention, because that's how you like connect. And I'm just like, that's so much work for what? For me.
Listen, I'm a Pisces, so we like to exhaust all possible options and avenues. And did we go down this alley? Okay, we did that already. And I totally resonate with this, because it's like you don't need a reason. Sometimes it just ain't there.
It's a Capricorn for me. I'm just like, we're not making money right now. We're just, our feelings are on the line. Oh, no. wasting my time. No emotions. That's personal. We'll talk about it to my therapist. Go on.
But I like the point that you have brought up earlier too, that being a hoe doesn't necessarily, or if you decide to be in your whole phase, that doesn't mean that that's all that you are. And I think that does tie back to being the fact that like being a woman is many different things.
Very multifaceted.
And I was actually recently listening to a podcast that was talking about hotels by Jasmine Sullivan.
Yeah.
And although, yes, like, you know, all the hoes are just like, yes, like this is like my anthem and whatnot. Like, it's really just a story about a woman who, like, you know, several women. But like at the end of the day, like we all have all these versions of ourselves. So there, you know, you can be the hoe. You can also be the Madonna. You can also be, you know, anything in between. But I feel like it's important to go to those extremes for you to be able to find like that gray middle area that works for you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I feel like the gray middle area encompasses all things. And like sometimes this one is a little bit louder. This one's a little bit louder. Like it's, we are flowing. Everything is a spectrum. Everything's fluid. What women is fluid.
Literally.
Yes. But people being all up in our coochies and caring about the amount of people that we've slept with has been going on for forever. Truthfully, people all up in our space, all up in our love lives, unnecessarily. How do you feel about things about like body counts?
Oh my gosh, I think it's so silly. Like, I remember I had one dude I was talking to or whatever, and this young man was high key obsessed with owning me low key. Like I could see that in hindsight, but he would ask those type of questions all the time. And in my mind, I'm like, why does it matter? Like, why do you even want to know? Like, even if you are emotional about it, whatever that means for you, like, why would you even ask questions you don't want the answers to? And I think it's a silly question. I think that's like, well, how many glasses of water do you drink today versus do you drink water? You know, like, I don't need to tell you my count. We could talk about the things I like and don't like and see what works from there. Like, you a whole different human. So, you know what I mean? It's silly. I think it's childish, honestly.
Yeah, that's a red flag for me. As soon as you ask, I'm like, you don't really care to know. Like, you just trying to figure out how, quote unquote, clean, you know, or like how many people have touched me type of situation. And what difference does that make? I showered in between. Like, you.
Yeah, I don't really understand the question. Like, well, I personally don't even count. Like, you know, it kind of is just something that happens, and that's just for me. Like, it's just like,
keep a list.
I know, and that's like that's how you, and that's your business.
Got a notes app.
You keep
the blessed ones.
It's just something that has happened, you know, with a person that I was connected with at one point. So I'm just like, so why do I need to report back to anyone? Like, that's crazy.
It's strange.
It might be a little weird that I keep track, but there's a lot of people that do keep track.
No, that's not weird to keep track. It's your body.
Oh yeah.
Tend to it how you please.
I never know the number off the top of my head, but like I always like, I'll like add them in like a day or two later.
Yeah, I could probably guess. It's around this about.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Vaguely.
Like, you know.
Vaguely.
I'm so like, I don't think I keep track, but I feel like what if someone was to ask me that, I'd be able to be like, okay, I can go in order. Like, is that weird?
Yeah.
Where you can like account from the order. You're like, okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, did I forget some? No. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that deep. I'm not thinking about it every day. So
I used to be able to do that until like 2 years ago when like I first started my whole phase, and then last 2 years, don't ask me what order whatsoever.
Yeah. Craziness.
Oh my god, I completely just blanked out.
I wanted to talk about let's talk about like Black women specifically in relation to the whole phase, because we do have like the Marilyn Monroes and the Madonnas and Britney Spears and
the Monica Lewinsky.
You know, like these are white women who were obviously shamed, like slut shamed, but they were also presented with a certain amount of grace and respect for, at the end of the day, being white women. When we have Black women, we obviously have the misogynoir that is embedded in all of our culture, but then we have the media pushing this idea of like these whores or these non-sexual beings. Like, originally in our enslavement in this country, we were not supposed to be sexual beings. Like, we would have these like clothes that are like too big for us, or like shaved heads and pulled back, so to make sure that we're not looking sexual, to steal our master's attention. But then we would be the ones like actually being forced to have sex with other people. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So let's talk about the Black identity with wholeness and whoreness and how that's changed. How do you feel about that, being a Black hoe?
That's
But
that's deep. Honestly, I think there's terms for women that are seen, that are used in a negative tone, as in hoe. And then once you put the layer of being Black on top of that, you kind of get into this whole nother realm of disdain, or to like this whole nother box of this is definitely not okay. So to your point, where something might be a little bit more glamorized, ooh, it's taboo, it's pearl clutching, it's these things. And then for a Black woman, it's more so like dirty, filthy, like it's from this like intense, like just derogatory kind of lens that people see it through. I think that, like you already pointed out, it's hypocritical. It's very like you playing in my face. Like sometimes I don't know, like not to say like I'm someone that claims the word or hears the word, but I have friends and I've been in situations where I'm like, ooh, that was whole activity. You know what I mean? And it's like
ventures.
It shouldn't be this I'm losing my words, but it shouldn't be this thing where you feel like you almost have to hide it or be sneaky. I have a few friends who are like, they have sneaky links, and we have this like code that we speak through, and we have, meanwhile, not to, put stereotype names on it, but stereotype names like Molly and her girls is like, yeah, and then Jem, that was last week. Yeah, girl. Like, and it's a whole different way. We even talk to our friends sometimes about what we've been doing. So I don't know. It kind of leads back to the beginning of having to cover up a little bit and be a little bit modest. And even growing up, and I know this might be a little left field, but it's like being in a household where it's like, well, put some pants on because Uncle so-and-so come in and his friends, and make sure you cover up. Like that same mentality of cover up because you will be sexualized if your clothes are shown. Like there's layers, Muhyi. And I think for a Black household, Black women, like there's something that we understand, and even my posture might change. I'm breasted, like things little things like that. I know what shirt to wear at a certain venue. Like it goes, so it's layered, because anything you can be deemed as promiscuous or
for sure
whatever. So
I think that Jasmine Sullivan, obviously I love the album, but I think she does a really good job of allowing us to reclaim that, because above like having like promiscuity or having sex with multiple partners, it is about empowerment and not letting someone else dictate what you do with your body and how you feel about your body. So being Black, you already have, you're literally the world shapers. Like you're shaping the world, you're creating the future. So however you step into your presentation of being, it's really going to change the way the world sees you. So I think it's really important to stand in your wholeness as a Black hoe, proud Black hoe.
Big facts.
You feel me?
Yes,
absolutely love it.
Doing it for my ancestors.
Period.
Let's get into some common myths and mistakes about hoes. I think these are pretty standard. First and foremost, a hoe wants everyone. No, we don't. I do not want you. I promise you.
Well, that's such a crazy thought, because first of all, who wants everyone?
Literally, nobody. There's nobody in this world that wants and is attracted to everybody.
But then there's this idea that like, I can't. Don't talk to her. She's a pop. She's a hoe. Like she's been with this person. Like,
yeah.
So have you? Like,
yeah. Or like I slid in her DMs and it was real easy to sleep with her. So like, it should be easy for me to sleep with her too. No.
Yeah, it's kind of this is double-edged sword. It's ridiculous, and that's totally a myth. No one wants everyone.
Nope. Hoes are dirty. Also a lie. I'm clean. I shower. I get tested.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of that metaphor that people be using where it's like, not every lock can be opened by every key, but a key that can open every lock, or whatever the metaphor. Oh my God, it's so stupid.
Yeah. It's not a lock and it's not a key. You don't unlock nothing. Nothing's happening here. Like, I don't know.
Also, your hygiene is not necessarily related to your body count or your sexual health. Like it's literally not where's the correlation? Yes. You know what I'm saying? And also, if you do have an STD, which we've spoken about in our past episodes, one, they're extremely, extremely common, and people are navigating this world as a human, and they do pick up things. But it's important that you check on yourself and you take the appropriate measures and try to continue to navigate the world. Like, it doesn't make you clean, it doesn't make you dirty. We want to make sure that we're destigmatizing this identity of things that just happen.
Yeah.
Experiencing life, like.
And then this is my favorite one.
Them are curable. Like, come on.
Exactly. And then this is my favorite one, because it's going to lead into our Madonna whore complex, is that a hoe can't be made into a housewife.
Oh God.
That is my favorite one. There's no way that you can be a hoe and that you will eventually get a ring on your finger. That doesn't happen. Though
that's so crazy.
That's not, obviously that's a lie, an absolute lie.
I think about I don't know if you guys follow her, Shan Boodram, and Shan
Love
Booty.
her. Yes.
And she's someone who I really look at and I'm like, you know what? I love her, because the idea when people say that, it's like there's one set idea is what a hoe is, and there's one set idea is what a traditional housewife is. And in 2022, like, we really need to start adapt. Like, we need to like think differently, you know, because everyone doesn't fit into either or cookie cutter box like we just described. And she's someone that I think is able to understand who she is and then define what her relationship and what her commitment looks like for her. Right. And there's 7 billion of us and counting on this planet. There's no way everyone's going to fit into these boxes that were put on us for financial gain. It's all about the bottom line at the end of the day. So that's why all of this is pretty silly, but
I mean, it goes back to us obviously being multifaceted, but I also can talk a little bit about like social media and the influence of social media and media, because like we didn't have as much access to everyone's lives as we do now. Like, we have all access, like how they are at 9 a.m. in the morning when they log in, and they could be a completely different person at 11 p.m. But either way, we're seeing this same person the whole time. So literally, I could be a hoe at 11:53 p.m. and a housewife at 5:56. I'm still the one person. I'm a hoe and housewife. I'm a housewife. I'm a housewife. You heard? Like, I think that also adds to us understanding the fluidity of being, you know, social media does. So hoe and housewife, all of this trying to throw things into a binary, ditch it. 2022, y'all, please.
Yeah, we're more complex than that.
Things are not polar.
It makes me think about so one of the biggest things in media is the Madonna whore complex, aka the virgin whore complex, was described by Sigmund Freud on the basis of some of his clinical work. Specifically, he noticed the difficulty some men had in having sexual relations with their wives because they differentiated women into these categories. Those men were aroused by prostitutes and mistresses, but not their wives, because paradoxically, they respected the latter too much. They viewed them as fellow humans, i.e. not whores, to be sexually attracted to them. And I think we've definitely seen that, like, throughout the years. It's played out in movies, it's played out in real life. Like, this is not anything like new that we have heard of, where, you know, oh yeah, like a man has his wife and he puts her on this pedestal and she's to cook to me, she's to clean to me, and do these vanilla sex acts for me. But like, when I want to get like real raunchy and down and dirty, like, you know, I got my mistress that I call, I got my hoe on the side that I call for your baby. Exactly. All ready for that on the side. And I think it's definitely like that Madonna whore trope is definitely like really, men hold on to that, I think, a lot more than women do. And since we are competing for the attention of men, women end up just running loose with that, and within ourselves, in our community, we definitely judge each other for that. But I find that just incredibly interesting, that like, how are you gonna marry somebody and be with somebody that you can't be like your nastiest and your kinkiest with? Like, that is who I expect to be like my true whorest self with, would be with my husband. Like, oh, you put a ring on it?
It's weird. It is weird, because it's like things that you can play with like a toy versus someone that you put on the same level as like your mom. Like, I've heard a lot, and I don't, you know, of course it's not only men, like women also will reinforce this message, especially me. I'm growing up in like Baptist, you know, Black household, and I was given handkerchiefs to cover my knees in church and make sure I was acting a certain way and be prepared for X, Y, and Z. But I had and have a mom who was very like rebellious. She was like, girl, F that. If you don't cook, then walk in there and be like, do you cook? Because we gonna have to figure this arrangement out. You know,
we gotta eat. We
gotta eat. Like, we gotta build this up, because I could do laundry all day. Oh, you hate that? You know, like that conversation. But it goes back to like what you feel like you could play with and what you feel like, nah, because either, whatever respect and importance you put on that person, like it reflects in how you talk about them, how you show up for them. I've heard, it was like a young man recently who was talking about a woman, and someone in the comments was like, but your mom is twice her size. Were you talking about she fat, but you wouldn't say that to your mama? Like, or you were talking about, you don't like this or that, or she shouldn't be with X, Y, and Z, but you got stuff in your family that, you don't see as a problem. So we gotta break this hierarchy of people, in general, because it's very linear, it is very toxic, and it's dangerous, because that's how you get people in situations where there isn't safety and there isn't intimacy and there isn't the ability to kind of trust. And so now you're in this mucky waters of like, well, I think you're this way because you said this. And you get these snapshots, especially on social media, of who people are. So
yeah, I think that was a really great point, because that Madonna whore complex, I think it came down in the definition to respect. The idea is that you will respect your wife, but you will not respect the person that you are being sexually promiscuous with, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, because you should, when you are in any sexual situation, feel safe. Like, it's not a release of frustration or anger. I mean, it can be for some people, but it's still a safety, and both parties need to be respected for the job that they are doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really insane.
The fact that you have to hide a piece of yourself because you respect me already feels like we have to start at step one to understand what you think respect really is.
Right. Yes.
If I'm going to marry you, there has to be a level of trust where if you like X, Y, and Z, like, I'm going to hold it down. You know what I mean? But, like, there's a certain level of like, you have to lift the veil with the person that you're spending the rest of your life with, if that's what you choose,
Also respect yourself enough to know that you are able to be your fullest self with your chosen partner.
Yeah. I think it also boils down to one of the things that like comes to mind is that like people just continue to see sex as like a filthy thing. And instead of just like a normal bodily function that we do, same way we go to sleep, same way we shower, same way we pee, we poop, we do all, like, we have sex.
You just need a partner. Even though you can have sex without a partner, but like, you just need a partner to do it.
Exactly. And also, like, what does that say about what you think and how much you respect yourself, that you think that doing these things with somebody else makes it dirty?
Yeah,
It's like you're still a part of it. Like,
you're still there.
You're also still there. Like,
it's strange. This is shame, and like you said, it's like respecting your body, but I think it's a shame. There's like, even if you respect your body, you're programmed to feel like, if I go this far with X, Y, and Z, then I now taint this person. And you like project that onto somebody. Like, it's deep, because I'm like, you're okay with projecting it on the girl you just met, but the wife at home, you need to make sure you put your mask back on, and you have to feel like that's sad for the individual, and not fair to your partner. So, hey.
I also think that whole ideology is only intensifying, like there was there's power in the matriarchy, obviously, and there's power in the patriarchy. Like, there is a balance, a system that I think organically deserves to be accepted and acknowledged. But as time goes on, things become toxic when you start equating respect and value based on either party. You know what I'm saying? Because they can work very lovely in conjunction. Like, okay, it makes sense. I don't want to go outside and chop down wood or something. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like this is going to explode. This definition, it doesn't even make sense anymore. Like, that only happens over time, and it's time right now, 2022, to decolonize our mind and create this true understanding.
Big facts. You guys
at all
you guys have seen that video that went viral recently of oh my god, I'm not gonna call him an idiot, but he's an idiot. That like male podcaster that was like, oh, if a woman is like in a relationship, like she can't have social media. If she has social media and she posts to social media, like she's a whore. No, if she posts like scantily clad, was like literally the word, like the exact words that he uses. Like, if she's all scantily clad, like on social media, and like basically, if you are a woman and you are trying to actively date a man and like you're serious about him, like you should not be on social media at all, because that's cheating.
Golly geez.
Yeah.
That's deep. I know which podcast you're talking about. I haven't seen the clip, but there's a lot. Hot take. I do not think men should have podcasts.
Listen, Yeah. So that specific podcast is an outlet for people who do not truly feel confident with themselves and truly love themselves. It was raised under the guise that uplift this so you can feel powerful. I do follow podcasts that are led by men, right? And they actually critique it and they're like, this is stupid. Like, and so obviously I like to surround myself with those type of messages. But to that, I think it's one of those things where control comes back into play. He's very insecure, it seems like. And if anyone was to tell me now that we're together, you are going to need to remove yourself from the social landscape within the internet, I would probably be too shocked to speak. Like I would probably, because this is a part of our like day to day, right? Let's just keep it a fact. It's like cool if you have no social media presence. I was even joking with Grace, like, girl, I barely being able to catch up with you on social media. Like she'd be very like
vague, like mysterious.
For someone to say that, they're just revealing all of their worries, scares, things that they fear. Like there's nothing more sexy than a man that's like, do your thing. I've already accepted you. We've already
that cheers you on.
That cheers you on.
Like, yeah, you do look good. Let them know.
Period. Like it's
like you didn't mind my my whole pictures and my close friends when we were talking, but now that we official, now I can't post nothing.
You don't get to mold me. You get to see if my already existing person is connected to yours. Yes. That's it. You don't get to mold and create me. Like you don't.
Oh, I think that's absolutely
I love
beautiful.
that. Yes. Yes.
You can't tell me what to do.
Period.
Tell me what to do.
Like,
I just love this space, this platform of Always in Bloom that we're giving each other the mic and like to speak out so freely and safely. And I was actually talking to Grace earlier about that we are not excluded from the indoctrination of white supremacy, of patriarchy, because that's all we've grown up with here in this nation, so like us being able to reflect and look back at ourselves and how we think and really dissect it to try and decolonize, I think it's a beautiful thing. And like I love having this space to talk about it. So again, thank you for being here. Spirit called me to talk about that right now.
Thank you. And I think like I wasn't feeling nervous or anything before I came on here because I understand the company that I'm in. So I really appreciate both of you as well. It just popped into my head real quick. But I remember Nichelle, and I saw this on TikTok where it's like Nichelle or your person at, we'll get to it, a younger age, like it's still a part of you. And the lessons you learn, you keep and you kind of evolve and you change as you grow and go. And I remember it was like me and my best friend at the time, we were younger, and we'd be like, virgins for life. Like it was so cool. Like, yeah, like keep it locked in and like trust me back. Like it was very that. And then it went into being like, okay, I need to explore my body. So, I'm vibrating up all that. Like, I'm just, exploring who I am. And then that tug of war of like, I want to have fun, but like I found you. So I'm going to do this for right now and I'm going to figure it out. And I think being more grown and kind of understanding who I am and in the space that we're in today, it's like, listen, you could just smell nice. I'm like, you know what I mean? So pollution, and I don't feel any shame or bad about saying that, So
yeah. And I definitely thought when I thought I'm gonna be a one woman man. I'm not gonna sleep around. Like I said, I was gonna find the love of my life. So I was gonna find the love of my life. I was gonna work at McDonald's for like 2 to 3 years. This was like my life plan. I was gonna find the love of my life. I was gonna work at McDonald's while I went to college, and then after college we were gonna get married.
That was from a commercial.
And then I know, yeah, I really like that commercial. I also think that like from when I was young, I always wanted like a job as soon as I could have gotten a job. So I was like, McDonald's hired a 16-year-old. Like I just need to make it to 16 and I will have a job. Like,
oh my God.
No, literally never applied for McDonald's ever in my life.
That's so crazy, like to understand how much the media kind of shapes our identity and what we think is supposed to work, but we actually have to like talk back to ourselves. I remember when I was in like 3rd grade or something, and everyone was like talking about like their crushes and things like that. Like B5 was really popping, and then I was just like, oh my God, I don't have a crush. Like something's wrong with me. Like I was pretending like I told everyone I was in love with T.I. First of all, I didn't know because I was like, no one's gonna look in. I told everyone I was in love with T.I. I was like, yeah, that's my boo. That's my man. That's my man.
T.I.
Yeah, T.I.P. Clifford Harris.
That's what he was walking around with all those rubber bands.
I didn't think that anyone would notice. Like, it's just like, no, not like if I pick someone popular, they would like call me out. Like, it's just like, okay, so what year were they born? So I was just up in there doing all the research on Mr. Clifford, like learning all about him. I had like pictures of him on my book. When I tell you, not only was I not attracted to this man, I don't even think I was attracted to men. Like, I was really creating this facade because I thought that I had to.
Yeah.
You know?
The rubber band man. That's who you chose.
That was
Shut up.
fan.
The rubber band man.
I was like, get it, baby daddy. Like, girl, you're in 5th grade.
Yeah. Like, you don't like him.
That's not your baby's father either. Like, it was pretty ratchet. It was whack. I do think that it's up to us to really acknowledge what we had done in the past.
Yeah.
So that we can shape our future.
Facts. Yeah, no. I definitely remember obsessing about B5 back in the day, but I also do remember us like being like a little weird towards, you know, those who were like who didn't speak up. It's like, oh well, you're not crushing on anybody, or you're not doing.
You guys were so mean to us.
Yeah. But I think at least for my personal experience, growing up going to Dominican Republic, I never, or I don't ever think I've ever seen like a actual prostitute like here in the United States. Trying to think about it real quick. Yeah, like that comes to mind. But like in DR, literally grew up seeing that. I literally saw like as soon as it got dark out, you know, there were corners that, you know, all these women in these really tight outfits would come out. Mm-hmm. There was one time that we were actually on our way to our airport and our car broke down and we ended up at a brothel for like 3 hours. And like while we waited for our car to like come get serviced. I remember that my parents like at the end told us that it was a brothel because I think I was like 11 years old.
Yeah.
And then like my mom being like, oh yeah, like, you know, obviously like they're just like regular women. Like, look, they took care of us, they did this and they did that. And I thought in my head, like, did you think that they weren't just because like we were
they had
like
sex?
Yeah. I'm like, it's also like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. Like it is not peak brothel hours. Like it was empty. Like, you know, it was just, but like why did I eventually had the conversation with her where I was just like, you know that like we're all just humans, right? Like there's nothing different about them just because like this is how they like live their lives. Mm-hmm. And I grew up with a lot of people who were very hypersexual in front of me. Mm-hmm. So I think that did also, because I always like teetered with my whole phase where I like fought it a little bit, but when I decided to go full-fledged, I was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Like I have seen this growing up, and I've never shamed anybody. I take that back. Definitely shamed a few girls growing up about being some hoes, but mostly because of like the guys that they were with. It wasn't what you did.
We learned, but
we learned. Yeah.
I mean, I pretended to like T.I. Like we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know.
Yeah, no, and it's still an ever evolving thing. It's something that we're still learning. Like I said, I'm in Q4. I don't even know what that is going to entail. Right. I've got like the whole thing down packed, but now it's like trying to re-enter a dating pool instead of the streets, and what that means for me. And I have literally no idea what that means for me.
Are those two different things? Maybe that's a silly question, but when you think of the streets and you think of casually dating, are we giving a hierarchy to the two? Is it different? And you know, that's just what popped in my head right now. Like,
I see it as two. I see the dating pool and the streets as two different things. Like if you in the streets, like you are in the streets.
You're in the streets for like a reason. I feel like dating, it's like we're looking for something long term or like just trying different things out. But I feel like in the streets is like, I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna talk to different people with no intentions, I guess. That's kind of what I mean.
At least in my head, that's like how
that's how I imagine it.
I don't know why, but I feel like it's the same. Your intention can be whatever it is, but I feel like those two terms in my brain are the same thing, but they sound or they mean something different in society. So like the streets, you hoeing, and if you're casually dating, then it doesn't mean you're quote unquote putting out. But even if you're in the streets, like I feel like you could be casually dating and you could be like, you could be throwing people away, or you could be like, you know, I actually like this person, or just so you know, I am dating other people. Like you hear those kind of like that verbiage a lot. And I feel like it's low key the same. It's just,
I feel like when you're in the streets and then you find like someone that you like in the streets, then you start dating
and you go to the pool.
It's a step.
This is the way that I thought about it. Like now, like as you were divulging into it more, the streets, you could just get up and go walking. You could get up and go to the street and walk. But you gotta prepare for the pool. You know what I mean? You gotta put your bathing suit on. You gotta get your sunscreen. You gotta get your towel. So it's like when you're hoeing around, I'm like, I'm not gonna look cute. I'm not gonna dress cute. I'm not gonna filter much of what it is I'm gonna say. Like it is, you are gonna get what you're gonna get. I'm not gonna try to like, oh my god, what's your favorite color and what do you love to eat? Like, oh no, nigga, you look good. You have your own place. Like where, like I live with my parents. I can't pull up to you. I don't got a car. You gotta drive me. Oh, you want to hang out? No, I don't want to hang out. Can I just come over like and sneaky link it? Yeah, like it's just real cut and dry in the street. But for the pool, you know, you apply yourself. Oh my god, like I do want to know what your favorite color is, and I'm like, yes, let's actually be seen in public and like let's go out to eat. Don't pick me up at 11 p.m. in an Uber and ship me off to your house. Like those, like the difference is for me.
I can hear that. Just random question.
Yeah.
I've started a little bit. My close friends is not as thoughty as before.
I'm not good in the streets. It just doesn't go well. I just can't pretend. I cannot pretend.
Yeah.
I try so hard.
Yeah. No.
No, it just don't work out for me.
I remember I was trying to be in the streets and from Grace's definition, and it didn't work out that much because I was in the streets for like 2 weekends, and then 2 weekends I was like wifed up. Like I was like, I love this security, I love it. And then I'm like, hey, girl, like you lock it down too quick, or you know, like in the past, I've always felt like that. I remember one time, oh my god, are we at okay? Whatever,
safe space,
right? So we got on the I don't want to be whatever. We got on a little bus, right? Me and my friend, and we head to New York, and we were hitting up all the gay bars and whatnot because if you know Nichelle, if you know Trish, like that's just where I like to live. And I remember I was like, I looked at a bartender one time, and I was like, is he into me? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know if he's for the girls or for the girls, like, you know? And I remember one thing led to another. We were having a poppin' ass time, I'll say that. But then the next day I was like, la-di-da-di-da, like nothing happened. Like I just walked through my life. And my friend told me, he was like, that was the best night of our lives. Didn't you feel good about it? And I was like, did I disassociate? Did I just leave that moment there and move on with my like, I don't know. It's weird. Life is weird.
It definitely is.
Anymore. So yeah, streets, dating, whatever. We're living life.
We're living and we're grateful every day, and being our best selves is the goal of the daily goal, to be the best.
Exactly.
No one ever was to catch them. No, don't catch them.
I don't think I've ever picked up anybody at a bar.
No.
And I social media has been my
your go-to.
My go-to.
Stop it. Because you did cottage. Picked up. That was you.
I mean, I'm not a lot of my hoes, and not all of my hoes have been through social media.
You pick them right up.
But yeah, no, social media, like I think I've been picked up in person, but like I haven't picked anybody up in person. Like I've only shot my shot via social media. Because I could shoot a shot via DM. Like that is zero issue for me.
My issue with shooting a shot is that I'm like, okay, now you do the work, because I'm like, I like you, what's good?
Yeah.
And then they have to act on it, and they don't. They're just like, okay, cool. And I'm like, oh, this is.
See, I do that in person. I'm like, I stared at you for 6 seconds. Why are you not?
Why aren't you
here?
Yeah. There, I love an eye gaze, and then you follow up.
I love doing a walk,
and then you follow up.
I don't know why I can't get jiggy with social media. I think probably like a few people will hit me up, blah blah, but I'm very like professional, like low key. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, thank you so much for the inquiry, but no thank you. I'm like, paper trail. Maybe it's my HR.
Paper trail.
Screenshot I need, but I just I like that in the in-person moment where you're like, yeah, you know, you want another one? Okay, cool. And now you look at now you cheesing. Now we like going like flirting. Like I love that moment.
For a really long time, I've refused to like get on or like date anybody or take anybody seriously who would like message me, because I was like, that's not how you meet people. Like we have to be in a grocery store, and I have to have passed by him in the aisle, and he caught a whiff of my perfume, and he had to come follow me and see who I was. Like that needed to be my story.
You don't be grocery shopping?
I do not.
What was this vision like?
And then I realized that my dream required me to go outside.
Right.
And like I don't do that very often. So like, okay, social media does have its place. I get it. I get why people meet other people online. So now I destigmatized myself. I talked myself out of it. I was like, yeah, no, you can DM me and I'll continue the conversation.
What about like dating apps?
I've been I've been on Tinder.
I feel like the dating apps have like not a hierarchy, but for an intention. Tinder is strictly for hookups.
Yeah, but it was Tinder before. Like, I mean, okay, Tinder was always for hookups. Tinder and Plenty of Fish were the only ones that
I thought Plenty of Fish was for like marrying people.
Yeah, what does Plenty of Fish give? Because I don't really know.
Nothing. Plenty of Fish is.
You were looking for
I can't even like properly describe what Plenty of Fish is because no matter what phone you download it on, it always feels like you're like on an old ass computer.
That's what it sounds like.
It always just feels like you're on an old ass, like it slows down your phone.
It highly sounds like something from 2002.
It's
like
giving very like MySpace, like AOL feel.
Yeah. The UX designer needs to step it up on Plenty of Fish.
100%. But Plenty of Fish is almost like a undercover or less known version of like a Tinder, or a bougier, maybe like an Android-y version of Tinder. I know I can't properly describe it. I have met 2 people off of Plenty of Fish, so like okay, but I'm also like a gem on Plenty of Fish, like compared to the people who actually
looks like you
get on Plenty of Fish. Like I literally very much stand out because I'm one of the only, like one of 5 females that don't have like a full, like all my pictures are all filters. So I get that a lot, like on the social media apps that I have been on. Like I don't ever use a filter, like really, when I'm taking pictures. And so people will like message me and be like, is this really you? That there's no way this is you because like you don't have a single filter up. And I'm like, I just don't use them.
Yeah.
I can take a picture of myself right now by a clock if you would like. You could see that it is me. But those are the only 2 that and Instagram are really the only 2 that I have used. Nobody talks to me on Twitter, so you know, there's that. But yeah, Instagram, Twitter, and Instagram, Plenty of Fish, and Tinder have been the thing. I've been wanting to try Hinge and Bumble.
I heard that my friend told me that they have used Facebook dating. Like there's a dating app for Facebook now. What? She went on the worst date, and I'll have her talk about it one day, but it was absolutely insane.
Facebook as dating? Yeah. Is that a separate app? I literally never heard that.
Separate app or something. She said it's new and it's like in its beta mode or something like that. But I was just like, girl, why are you meeting people up on that?
I low-key feel like I heard about that. I wouldn't trust Facebook to
Yeah, I think they actually do like compatibility matches based on your like profiles too, and then gives you a range of people, and that's when you do like the matching thing. That's
like
what
that
I think
even
it does.
less.
Huh?
I like that even less. Don't match me based off of things I put on Facebook. Like definitely not.
She definitely had a date with like a freaking white supremacist guy or something. And I'm just like,
oh Jesus Christ.
Interesting. What dating apps have you seen or used, Nichelle?
Yeah, like I just said, I love an in the moment, but I remember there was like a month where I got on Hinge because Hinge just sounded very like
Hinge was cool.
Real.
Yeah,
for real on this app, you know.
The dating app that's meant to be deleted. Like, of course I'm gonna find the love of my life.
Like, I was on there for like a month. I was talking to this one person. He was outside of what I would typically go for, just aesthetically. And I was like, you know what? He seems cool. Like, he's a musician. Like, he plays in Brooklyn. Like, whatever. It's cute. And we're talking for like 3 days. He invited me to one of his shows, actually. So I'm looking up at the ceiling looking at me. I'm like, I think we got something here. Girl, let me tell you. So the day that we were supposed to meet up, I hit him up because I'm like, I'm not about to trek it to Brooklyn and I haven't talked to you today yet. I was ghosted. I was like, I'm deleting this. I was like, oh, wow, he having a busy day. Next day, didn't hear anything. I was like, I literally don't exist anymore. I'm not here. I never did this.
I never did.
All the first people I told that to. Nobody knows that.
Oh like, my God.
Is that the first and only time you've ever been ghosted?
Hell yeah. Now let me stop. Let me think. The first time that I've been ghosted on like a plan, like to meet up and for a date or something, yes.
Maybe he
died. In the past have been like late or, oh, I'm sorry, like give me 20 more minutes. Like I'm already en route. Like I've had those moments, but never like I got my fresh beat and my outfit on and I'm like just checking in and I don't hear from you. I was like,
I had my first ghost during my whole phase also, and it was really like,
how'd you feel?
It just like you, like I kept my mouth open. I was like
agape.
So like you just not gonna answer me?
How rude.
And what hurt me the most was that like we were like already like fake like sexting each other or whatever. So
Yeah.
he literally I'm gonna cry. He literally left me on red after I sent him like a really nice titty picture. And I was like,
Oh.
there's no way.
there's no
Because
way. They're great.
first of all, my nudes are artistic.
I'm proud of you.
The lighting, the outfit, the angle. Like
The
it's never
intention.
just gonna be like a boop. Like I
The
just took a picture.
nails.
Like the nails. Like there's always like a vibe. So I did like distinctly like see the picture in my head right now. I'm like, that was such a fire ass picture.
Follow our Patreon for the picture.
Yeah, I'll post it. But he did not respond to me.
That's crazy.
Like
I'm
literally,
so sorry. You did not deserve that.
and then he was like still following me on Instagram, so like I blocked him and then I unblocked him because I was like, there's no way that like you're just gonna continue your life and act like you didn't meet me. Like, come on now. But
yeah, it makes you feel crazy.
How do y'all feel about
it
ghosting?
Really does.
Like you actually ghosting, not like
have you ever ghosted anybody?
Let me think.
Exactly.
I only will like ghost someone after I've already made it clear where I stand and they just think that I'm playing. Does that make sense? So I don't really ghost people. Like I like to be very direct. I've sent voice memos. I've sent texts like this has been great, but I want to make it clear that I think you are just a friend. I might see you in passing, and I hope all will be well in your future. Bye. And if you get it twisted and you calling me and all, and you know, this caller, and you start getting no messages, it's not like I didn't say anything. Like I always like to make it clear enough, you know.
I'm really bad at that. I'm a fizzler. Like I'll just like start responding less.
That is terrifying to me.
And like with less frequency, and like my answers will be shorter.
No, I need it like very clear, because if someone like any miscommunication, I'm calling the police. I mean, fuck the police, but I'm just saying, like, I'm making sure that someone needs to know. Like, I cannot be out here.
No, it doesn't work. Like they all hit me up. they all
I'm a fizzler, but I'm out of it. They're still in it.
I literally be like, I don't get why they're still texting me. Like, Grace, you never let them go. I was like, but I haven't spoken to him in 3 whole days. Like he has to know that I don't want him anymore.
The best recipe is that like gradually dipping and then the message, you know, like for me, I like to give you some like a now I'm thinking about it, like you have a period of time where it's like, I know she's busy, but like what happens? Like, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like you still hear from me. But then there's a day that comes and you're like, so what's going on? Sometimes I've been confronted and I'm like, all right, here it is. Or I'll just be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I think you're excellent, but my life is going in a different place. Always like, okay, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up. And then they move on. Like, you know, you move on.
People live their life. Yeah.
I think part of it is definitely so that I definitely want them to still want me, even though I don't want them. I think it's like, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I think it's definitely that. Yep. I just want you to, I don't want you, but I want you to want me still. Yeah. And like, I still kind of want you to blow up my phone. I just don't want to respond. But I want to know that like it's there.
Okay.
I can't.
That's why Q4. Okay. Q4 people. We're working on it. You know, I think it's definitely that. There is such a sense of power when like 3 of my hosts text me at the same time, and I'm like,
is this manipulation that you're describing right now?
Oh my god, am I?
Is this manipulating that you don't actually want them and you're just like it's like teasing them at first? No, it's like teasing. You don't gotta give nobody anything. Oh yeah, my bad. Never mind.
They're men.
All right, let's move on.
When they're on TikTok screaming at their phones, like hurt and don't know where to do with their feelings. It's cool.
Leaving voice messages, like that's fine. That's fine.
Oh my god, I need to look into this more. I'm like but this is what Q4 is for. I do want to leave the whole phase, so I need to just figure out, because it's not like, I know that attention from everywhere isn't a good thing, and you don't need attention from everybody, and I don't need attention from everybody, but it's nice to have your phone blown up. It's nice to have the hearts and the DMs, right? Yeah.
I love attention, and I love to feel invited into someone's world, and I love to feel like the door's open, and I love to feel like I don't have to go and seek, that people come and seek me. I do love that, and I think it's something we have to look at, Grace. So that's why I was a bit triggered when you said it. I was like, But
Right?
it's like letting you go doesn't mean that I've lost something because I'm making room for something else is how I
Yeah.
rationalize in my mind. So
Wow.
And like the
well,
more that I'm thinking about it too, is like it's invitations that like I'm never going to accept. Like I don't actually want to go there, but I want to know that I'm invited.
hey, I
Wow.
want crickets. Like
I
Yeah.
just assume I'm invited. And you know, like that's just how I operate. But I can't wait till we get much later into this podcast when we actually just both go to therapy or something.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is definitely like I'm writing this down. I'm
we're
gonna
gonna talk about other
flag this.
things.
Why do I need so much attention? It's not like I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like I wasn't lacking it as a child.
right.
Where does this come from, Nichelle?
I don't know. I have to think
Mommy and
about
daddy
that.
always paid attention to me.
I got a lot of attention. I think that's a lot of way that a lot of people oh my gosh, this is gonna get serious because this is a journal entry I just did. But I think the attention, which connects kind of to like words of affirmation, acts of service, like that is the way that I was shown love so much, like throughout life. And I'm the type of person where you don't have to give me a gift. Like I grew up on Payless. Like if they had a clothing line, that's probably what I would have been wearing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the critical years of my life, like I felt the most loved when I got that type of attention or affirmations, like whether it be through the arts, like dance and like the praise, like it feels so good, not in like a ego way, but more in a like soothing the little child in me way, you know, where it's
Yeah.
like plus, you know? So to strive for that, to feel like you're excellent and then not get attention is like, am I doing something wrong?
Yeah.
Do you not feel attracted to me? Like, am I
Yeah.
not the light that you fly to? Like, you know, so we all need therapy.
100%.
That
Yeah, no,
was
we
very
definitely.
eloquent and very well put.
Yeah.
I'm glad you wrote that in your journal. Sounds like a really great entry.
Thank you.
I think I got stuff to write about too. I was learning my love languages recently, and
Mm,
they're quite intense. And it's like I think when people think about love languages, they think of it like romantically or like in their
mm,
partnership or whatever. But no, like the way that we accept praise and attention, like this can go into like work and even like our friendships. Like mine so hard. Acts of service and words of affirmation. Like, tell me I'm doing a good job
yeah.
right now. Or I don't know that I don't think I'm doing anything. Like so I feel like we need to acknowledge who we are in our languages in all of our fields and acts. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
Damn. And attachment styles. When I was coming
Oh
through,
my gosh.
like literally hoism versus housewife versus who cares versus I really do, but I'm gonna try until I fake it until I make it kind of thing. I had to start looking at that. That's my new in Act 2 or Q4 of this year for me personally is gonna be understanding my attachment style.
Yeah.
There's something this it's gonna be something avoidant. I already know it is.
No, yeah. Same mine is avoidant.
Like that's a whole nother thing, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you an article that I was reading on attachment style also,
Please.
because I didn't even know that was a term, and then I was like, oh wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
break this down for me because now it's resonating with me. Because I'm
It's
like detachment. What's that? Like you detach yourself from people. You're supposed to do that. No, don't understand.
yeah. What are the different boxes? Because I'm someone who, if I know something's done, I'll disassociate from the situation and then it didn't happen. Like my mom used to talk to me about this all the time where she's like, Nichelle, everything isn't so black and white. Like sometimes you feel the feels and they can be reworked into your life as something else. And I'm like, no, if it's done, I don't want to be reminded of whatever that situation was. They don't exist anymore. And I move forward. But like, whoa, it's pretty
Yeah.
aggressive in every situation. So
This is something I definitely need to look because I definitely feel like I attach myself very quickly to people.
mm,
Um,
Mm.
and that has caused me issues in my wholeness. Getting quarter four. Where like I end up talking to somebody for longer than like I probably should have.
yeah.
Because I did attach myself. And I'm a really big romanticizer. Like in my head,
Mm,
oh my God, whole other world of scenarios in my head of things that have happened. And I tend to really emotionally charge those like thoughts and then
yeah.
like we'll implement them onto that person and then I'm just like, oh well, this is how you are, when it's like, no, it's not, it's literally just what I thought of in my head. I do that a
Mm,
lot, like a lot.
I was looking up what different attachment styles are like how they break it down into the categories or whatever, but like everyone's kind of looking for like a secure attachment, secure. And I personally don't think that that is possible without like very intentional work, because the only other options are disorganized, fearful, avoidant, dismissive, that's me, anxious, and preoccupied. Like, like it's not like we're just those three or secure.
Yeah.
And I think that obviously secure is the safest and most confident, but they each have different definitions, and I will share them with both of you.
Beautiful.
But
Pretty please.
it's because of obviously how we grew up, how we view our parents, nature versus nurture, but
Mm.
also society. Like in women, we are told that we are in a submissive role. So when you are in a submissive role or it's subservient, that means that you are attached to the person who is above you. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like as we come into our identity, we have to make sure that we acknowledge our autonomy and our own power. And that's where the security comes from.
Damn.
Yes, very much
I'm
so.
definitely in that stage of life where I'm trying to really be concrete and hone in on what that is, because I was talking to a friend and she was like, just venting to her, whatever. And she basically stated like, we were raised by women that feel rebellious now towards that construct of what a woman's supposed to be and how they're supposed to act, to the point now where we're hyper independent and hyper achievement oriented, but then like need to kind of teach ourselves, decide that it's a little bit more natural to us. Like you feel that tug of war of like, well, but don't box me in. And it's like you go so far left where it's like, well, do you know how to in that balance where it's healthy and it's not something that was defined for you? It might look similar, it might look different, but like, are you comfortable even going there? So now I'm like,
yeah, no, it's tough out here. I think I was speaking to you before, or maybe it was through Embracing the Crown, but you were talking specifically about Black women and what are the words that we think of. And someone was talking about, like, I think of strength and strong. And I had posed the question of, like, would we still be looked at as being strong if we weren't constantly under attack? So it's like, of course, we want to be strong and we want to be independent, but Shawty wants to be soft and wants to be a damsel sometimes. Like, and taken care of and cherished. And that's what it's a balance of life and identity, but also the perception of what others see you as. Because we were talking in our traveling episode, like when we're traveling abroad, obviously as women, we always have to be mean or loud or like make sure that we look mean, like tougher, like don't fuck with us.
Yeah.
I'm a man right now. Stuff like that.
I'm walking around like my head's on the swivel, like, but I'm more chill. Like y'all know
exactly.
Let me know, like don't
And also I do my mean mug, but as soon as you talk to me, it all just like literally just fizzles away very quickly. Like, oh my god, yeah, did you want to sit here? Oh damn,
you're so warm.
Like, did you want a hug? Okay, bye.
It's like a defense that we have to have on because we are so under attack. But we are defining ourselves and redefining ourselves for ourselves in a way that is beneficial. And I think that it does start here with these conversations and being transparent and honest and welcoming and safe. So that's good. Let's keep on doing this. Let's keep on keeping on.
All right, Nichelle, so we're going to wrap things up and we are going to ask you as a sprout section where we're going to ask you what is a piece of advice that you would give your younger self. It doesn't necessarily need to be in terms of like, whole life or whatnot. It could be general advice, but if you want it to be more specific, you can as well. So what does little Nichelle need to hear?
Little Nichelle, let me time warp. I would say to Nichelle that everything that you fear, well, let me go back. I would say get used to the idea of trying things that you're afraid of. That's what I would say. I would say get used to the idea of trying things that you're afraid of. If you didn't fail at something today, then you are not growing, versus having this idea that if I'm exceeding every day, then I'm growing. It's this thing of like, that just clicked for me now that I would love to tell myself, like, trying something and not doing well at it is going to open up 3 more doors that you couldn't have seen if you only stuck to the things that you would achieve at. So really push yourself to try things that you may fail at so that you can truly grow. I would say that to her.
It's absolutely beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I think my little self needed to hear that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Even now, we tend to lean towards things that we feel like we're going to be really good at off bat versus things that we'll have like a learning curve on, or like we know are just going to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely beautiful. How about you, Muhyi? What does little Muhyi need to know?
I like to try and find something that little Muhyi needs to know based on what spirit tells me in our conversation having now. And I feel that she needs to hear that your body is yours. Own it, honor it, take pride in it. And you are entitled to yourself. No one else is entitled to you. It's really yours.
Yeah. That is absolutely beautiful. Little Grace. What does little Grace need to hear? Oh damn, this is a good one.
Right.
It's gonna be fun, girl. It's gonna be so much fun.
That's what's up.
Don't attach yourself too much of all these plans and dreams and hopes that you thought were gonna happen, but just have fun. Life is
the journey.
Exactly. Enjoy the
room
journey.
For fun.
Exactly.
Ooh, I need that too. Make room for fun.
Facts. Yes. So that is a wrap for today.
Ooh la la.
Nichelle, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today.
No, this is excellent. I love being here.
Nichelle, tell them where they could find you.
Yeah. So again, Nichelle O'Shells on all social media. That's on TikTok, Instagram, sometimes Twitter, YouTube, OHSHELLS. If you want to holla at me for a little cha-ching, O'Shells17@gmail. But yeah, O'Shells everything. Thank you guys again.
Absolutely love
many
that.
blessings. Thank you so much, Nichelle. It was so good seeing you also.
Yeah.
It's always healing. Like it's always like like I needed this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So thank you.
You're literally like glowing through the screen. I just want to let you know that.
You're already
always been gorgeous, but literally just truly your energy is radiating through the screen. Sure. So we're so glad that you were able to be here. And where can you find us, Muhyi?
Well, you know the vibes. If you are listening right now, you can be listening damn near everywhere. But make sure that you're checking us out on all social media. We are
at AIB Connect.
That's true.
On the Instagram and the Twitters.
Yes. And you can also look for our Patreon, and feel free to contact us at alwaysinbloom.content@gmail.com if you have any questions, any specific topics, because oh my gosh, we are wrapping up season 1. All right. Many blessings. Thank you all so much for joining us. Bye.
We love you all. Bye.